What's up and welcome to Mommy Needs a Break. This is a podcast for all you moms who don't have it together because we don't have it together. I'm Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop all over the internet. Make sure you follow me and follow this podcast, MNAB Podcast. It's Mommy Needs a Break. Just do the abbreviation. MNAB Podcast all over the internet as well.
And I'm Marisa Johnson. She is Marisa J on Instagram.
And you see this fabulous, shiny lady right here. This is Kimberly Spencer. She's going to help us get our lives together as moms and look as fabulous as she does. She has on heels, y'all, and it is Saturday morning, okay?
I have on heels like every day.
That is so amazing.
Even in the house.
Toms every day.
Toms is what I wear to the playground. But they are bedazzled. They are glitter tops.
I think they come in wedges, don't they? I think they come
They
out.
do. They're not. I don't like wedges.
Okay.
I know. Don't stop.
I'm just saying.
Leave us alone with our regular toms, okay? Don't try to make us more fabulous. All right, but before we get into that, we've got some stuff we're going to talk about. We've got mommy tips. We're talking about, what are we talking about today, y'all? I'm running on 2 hours of sleep, so please bear with me. You know what it's like. You're a mom. You know what this is. So, of course, we're going to talk about how to get your baby to sleep because I need help, you guys, for sure. We're going to talk about crazy baby names and more. And so I'm just ready to get this show started. I just need to get this started.
A little bit about Kimberly.
Oh, yeah, let's get
Oh,
We're going to get into all your business later. But
well, hey.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am Kimberly Spencer. I am a award-winning certified high-performance coach and trainer.
Yes.
I am.
Say all that.
Oh, hell yes.
What? Yes. You worked hard for that.
Yes. Oh, I boy, did I. And I am an Amazon bestselling co-author. I am an international speaker. I am the founder of my baby project, CranialSacral.com, that I actually started scaling when I found out I was pregnant.
Wow.
So that's
Love
my
it.
big.
Love it. So
Yes.
before we get into that, this segment is called Aint No Shame. So what it is basically we talk about things that other people might look down upon, but this is a no judgment free zone. So we start with Aint No Shame. You want to start first?
Yes. Ain't no shame. First of all, let me sip my mimosa that Kimberly brought us.
We made mimosas.
Can we
so
cheers?
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers to the mamas.
Look in the
Cheers
eyes.
to the mamas.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Why do you have to make it weird
cheers.
like that, though?
I don't know.
Cheers. Cheers to loving your babies, even though sometimes you're going to be like, get out my face.
And we need a break.
It's-
That's
I
why we're
know.
drinking champagne.
Sometimes. Yes. We
Yes.
love you, but sometimes.
Love you.
Okay, so there ain't no shame in letting your baby sleep in a p-shirt. Y'all, I just be so tired, like, because I'm trying to get Mav has like 2 bottles a night now. Like, he has a 1 o'clock and a 5 o'clock. I'll keep the 5 because that lets him sleep till like 8, but the 1 o'clock, like, you don't need it. So I'm like dwindling down. Now I think I got him down to like 1 ounce, and I'm about to switch it over to water so he can just be like, this sucks, and just be done with it. But in the meantime, like, because he has these bottles, he pees. And he pees a lot. And so, like, when he wakes up, if he flipped himself on his stomach, which most nights he does, then he'll wake. I don't know what this overnight diaper sucks. Okay, I'm not gonna put the brand out there, but I'm just saying one of the most popular overnight diapers sucks so bad because pee always comes out of it. I don't know if it's a boy. I mean, I push his penis down. I don't know. But anyway, his shirt always gets like a little bit wet around like the top of his diaper in the front. And at first, I think he likes it because it's warm. And then this gets cold and then he's just like uncomfortable.
Aww.
So last night, I really just unbuckled it and like put a bib underneath and was like, that'll be it. I didn't feel like changing it. So you know what? There's ain't no shame in letting your baby sleep in a p-shirt, okay?
Hey,
Oh.
no judging. No judging.
Yeah.
So this is a story I saw of one of my good friends. I won't say her name because she's an on-air personality. She probably wouldn't care, but I saw it yesterday and I felt like, this ain't no shame. This is what she's doing. This is what this is about.
Yeah.
So basically she's a new mom. The baby's maybe 2-3 months old. And she went on live and she was in the emergency room. So basically she was saying the baby rolled off the couch. She was like, the baby rolled off the couch. She was like, almost into, you could tell she's a comedian. So she was like laughing, but she was serious. And she was at the emergency room. She's like, I don't know what happened. Literally, we prop her up here all the time. And all of a sudden, I went to the bathroom, came back, fell. And I just felt like, she was like, I'm a terrible mom. I'm like, girl, you are not a terrible mom. You did the right thing. Some babies fall. You went to the emergency room. It's okay. She's okay. You're okay. And I saw that and I was like, you know what? It happened. And at least she was brave enough to just like say it happened.
Right.
You went to the doctor, the baby's fine, but it happens. And I wanted to encourage her in that moment.
She's
like,
a good mom.
Oh my
She went to
God.
the ER.
I
she went to the
because
ER.
Sorry, man. I'll be like, well, nothing's like looks out of place. I think we're good.
Right.
Yeah.
No
We're
blood.
good.
I think
Right.
it depends on the age because
Yeah.
my son somehow magically at 2 weeks old rolled off the couch.
Are you serious?
And it's because he has a giant head. Like he has a really beautiful, photogenic head.
I love it.
But it's large.
Yes, I love
And so I put him on the couch like I normally do, and I went to run to the bathroom.
Yep.
And I heard the
Oof.
thud that
Yeah.
no mother wants to hear, and then the scream, and then you see your child like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
yeah.
And I called the doctor in a panic.
Yeah.
And I'm very blessed to have an amazing holistic pediatrician who like I can text him, and just like he's like, well, you he said normally they don't do that until they're 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's your baby is very skilled.
Yeah.
And he said, just bring him in and we'll assess him. And he was fine.
Right,
like he
right.
landed fine. And then I like, I do all this holistic things like CranialSacral
that doctor.
Therapy. Yeah. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
wow.
His
I need that
pediatrician
number.
is amazing. Dr. Ed Seraf of Integrated
Okay.
Wellness he does a lot of celebrity babies, and because my child is
Celebrity.
a burgeoning child
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
Actually, he was like his birth was on film.
Really?
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Well, not the whole thing, but like because we were on a show called Chicken Soup for the Soul's Being Dad. It's on Netflix.
Oh.
They were following my husband because my husband was becoming a father at 50.
Wow.
And he's a bit older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to show like what it's like to become a first-time father. And like we were also doing natural birth in a midwife area. Oh my God, it was beautiful. It had chandeliers. I got to give birth in a tub. It
Wait,
was,
where is this? I'm gonna go watch this.
Right.
Where is this?
It's
on
on
Netflix.
Netflix.
What's it called?
Being Dad.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to watch this. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's so
it's
amazing.
so when I was in labor, I thought, oh my God, I got this handled. Like
Right.
I've run 5 marathons. I think back then it was 4. And I was like, I got this handled. Athleticism, I'm good. And then I was in labor and I was like, holy crap. I do not have this handled.
Right.
I was like naked, writhing on the floor. And like my husband's like, should I call the producers to like, and I was like, oh, hell no. So
I'm getting all this.
I said, look, they can come in when we're done. Like the baby comes out,
Right.
I'm in the
Makeup.
tub, I'll wear my nursing bra. Oh, I didn't have makeup, but I did have
Right.
permanent eyelashes back then. So
Oh yes.
I looked fabulous. As I do.
Exactly.
And so I said, look, okay, we're gonna they're gonna come in. So they did come in, and it was so I was so happy that they captured those first moments.
That's
and
good,
and
yeah.
especially for my husband, like because he didn't think
Oh.
he
You
didn't,
make me cry.
he didn't think he would have this opportunity.
Aw.
And like when he first saw our son, it was just like it was the most magical moment when he like turned to me as I have an Eastern European's like forearm up my crotch as she's like trying to get my placenta to close and whatever, and I'm like on the bed getting repaired and they're stitching me up, and he's like, he turns to me, he's holding our son, and he's like, thank you. And I was like, okay, well, everything was worth it for that
Right.
moment.
Yeah.
Like it was just, he just had tears in his eyes, and my husband does not cry. I mean, I've seen him cry like 3 times in my entire life. And by cry I mean choked up, teared up.
Right.
Yeah.
He cried once on our wedding day when he saw me in my wedding dress.
I need to meet this man.
Yeah.
Right? He's amazing. And then he teared up when our son was born. And he teared up on our honeymoon when we were in Italy, and he stared at the most gorgeous piece of Florentine steak that he'd ever eaten in his entire life. Seriously, I got it on film. I was like,
That-
you looked at me like you looked at that piece. Like, that steak is the same look you gave me in my wedding dress.
That is
funny.
hilarious.
That's funny.
Hilarious. Wait, do you have a Ain't No Shame?
Oh, yeah, well, my baby rolled off the couch at 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's it.
She's like,
Sorry,
look,
there was like so
I'm
many.
co-signing this.
Right.
I have many. Like last week I ate poop on accident.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened? How did you eat poop?
Oh.
Okay, you have
Oh
to
my
tell us now.
God.
Oh, yeah. I may be dropping like some major curse bombs on this.
That's fine.
Just letting you know,
Okay.
because holy shit tastes like shit. Like,
Oh my God.
I was sitting on the couch with
Yeah.
Declan, and he likes his waffles with fig butter.
Uh-huh.
And so he had fig butter on it, and like I was enjoying my waffle with him, and we were reading books, and I like turned, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for this moment. Like the sun was shining. I was like so grateful for this waffle that I don't normally eat. And I was like, oh my gosh, waffle, this is like delicious. And then I played this game with Declan where like he gets like things, you know, like kids do. They get food on their fingers, and I'm like, and like I had missed the part in my moment of bliss when he was sticking his hand inside his diaper.
Oh my gosh.
And so what I thought was fig butter
No.
was not.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
not.
Did you instantly know? Like,
I was like, And then I looked at him, and then I turned, and it was like in this moment of just like, and I see him go, with his hand in his diaper, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
And so I immediately picked him up, and I was like, Spike, it's my husband, and I was like, take him. I ate shit. Take him. He needs to change. I have to go brush my teeth. And so I started brushing my teeth. Shit does not come out. It does
Oh my God, no.
It does not come out of your mouth. Like, and this was like my big epiphany, my big moment of like how I correlated this to a life lesson.
Right.
Because I just make connections like that really fast, where I was just like, okay, so
What can I get from
what
you?
can I do? The brushing's not working. And I immediately was like, okay, I'll just go back, and I'll like, I guess I have to eat something.
Oh,
and so I went back, I made a piece of toast, and I was like, okay, I put, not fig butter on it. I put like strawberry jam, and I took a bite, and I was like, okay, that's helping. I took another bite. And what I realized was that when you're in any sort of struggle, or you eat shit, literally or metaphorically, the only way, you can't brush it off, you can't try to hide it, you can't try to hide the fact that you didn't experience that. You have to sit your ass back down at the table, and you have to go back to eating, and you have to do the work, and you just get back to eating. And that's the life lesson out of that.
There you go. That is a
Wait,
word,
did it go away?
Kimberly.
Yeah, it did. But
That
only
is a
after
word.
I sat my ass back down at the table and started eating like food, not shit. Like actual food.
That is
food, not
so
shit. Oh my God, that sounds like a great book title. Food, not shit.
Food, not shit.
Yes.
That's pretty,
Yeah.
You probably should
Oh
copyright
my
that.
gosh. That is, you got us beat by
I'm
Ain't no
like,
shame. Okay.
Yeah,
Ain't no shame.
that's
And you got a
intense.
great lesson out of that.
Right. Whew, my heart's racing.
Right. Okay, let's talk about mommy tips, all right? So today's mommy tip has to do with sleeping. I don't have one,
Megan
okay?
needs sleep.
I don't
Honestly,
have
Megan needs sleep if
one.
you cannot
This
tell.
segment is for me today.
Right.
I'm operating, I don't even remember, but it might be as much as 6 hours of sleep in the last 2 days. I can't.
You look great.
You
Thank
look amazing.
Your face is beat.
Yeah.
I feel like I just went like this. And I don't know what I'm doing here today. Okay, I almost didn't come. All right, you almost did this by yourself today, Marisa. I almost didn't. But I need help, you guys. So Declan is, you said how old?
Declan is almost 2. He turns 2 in July.
Okay, and then Halo is 1.5. So you guys, can you help me, please? That's all I ask. I need help.
So does Mav sleep in your room with you?
Yes, he does.
See,
Yeah.
I had to give that up because I was sleeping next to Halo's bassinet, and we have the one that kind of like goes onto your bed. It could like roll onto your bed, the Halo bassinet. And at one point I was like, Terell, you have to switch sides with me because I will literally like listen to her breathing. I can't sleep when she's right next to me because I'm too worried to making sure she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one thing. I had to switch sides. And then when she could roll over, she got in her bed. Like it was no more sleeping in our room. Like she had to learn that was her bed. This is her space.
Was there like tearful nights though?
Yeah, and
eventually she knew.
Yeah, like we have the chair in the room, so I feel like she likes being put to sleep by Terell better. So he'll just kind of like rock her to sleep in the chair when she was younger, and then bed. That's it.
And then wait, how many times did you have to go like get her at night? She slept through the night?
She kind of slept through the night. When it came down, but I think that was because she was in her own room. Like she would make little noises and Terell would be like, she's okay. And it would kill me, and I would lay there, and then she'd fall back asleep.
Oh, that's what I need help
He
with.
needs his own space.
I think, okay.
Well, I mean, Declan still sleeps in our room, but he has his own bed.
Yeah.
And, like, we made it a point that, like, yeah, he's an amazing kid because he is not that toddler yet that is, like, leaving the bed. And, like, he knows that when he's in bed, he's in bed. So, like, if he sits up and cries, he sits up and cries. And if he sits up and cries, like, in the middle of the night, he started to sleep more through the night. A part of that, I think, is really because we have him do like regular CranialSacral Therapy, which helps with the neurological development. It helps with his growth because he gets a little twitchy sometimes because he's going through growth spurts. Like they're growing so much within those first 2 years. Yeah. So it helps with like his nerves and being able to
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah.
So
I'm like,
so CranialSacral Therapy is amazing. I've been doing it. I haven't been practicing it, but I've been receiving it for about 10 years. It helped me reprogram myself from an eating disorder. It helps heal your tissue. And how it works is because your body is run by your unconscious mind because you're not thinking about breathing. You're not thinking about beating your heart. Well, when you experience anything in life, from the moment that you're born, it's recorded onto your tissue. And so for me, like certain experiences that I've had of trauma and of just the abuse that I put my own body through with my eating disorder, like I had trauma in my tissue in multiple forms. And how I knew that this was like a massive shift for me was it was 10, 12 years ago. I was like in like the first relationship with who I thought was my first love of my life, and things weren't going well. And I got this massive 2nd-degree burn because I just spilled hot pho on my lap. And it was the size of 2 of my hands.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy crap. Like the paramedics had to come and cut my pants because like this pho was scalding hot. And I, like the genius that I am, decided to take pho into a movie theater.
Hey, I would do that too.
Right. So it spilled all over my lap. I had a 2nd-degree burn. I went to the dermatologist and he said, I don't really know what you can do. He said, you can put some vitamin E oil on it, but it's probably going to scar. And I was like, oh, hell no. I will not.
These legs.
No, not these legs. Because back then I was acting, I was doing pageants, and I was like, I don't want to walk in Miss California and have like a giant 2-handed scar. Like, not that that's a problem, but I just wasn't okay with having that. Yeah. And so one of my clients I'd seen make massive progress. This was back when I was teaching Pilates. She made massive progress with her fibromyalgia with CranialSacral Therapy. And so she referred me to her therapist, and I said, okay. And it was the first time, like when I received the therapy, I literally was on the table. I felt my leg re-burning because it was the tissue. It was the cells literally reprogramming. I went back to the same doctor 2 days later, and he said, I don't know what you did. You're not going to scar. And I had that happen so many times with just healing of the body because you have neurotransmitters on every single cell of your body. So like what happens in your mind, what happens in your body, and vice versa. It's like communicating constantly every single moment of our lives. And so I believe that the therapy worked so well for me because I was just in such a place of willingness and surrender. And B, I believed because I was like, I was just unavailable to have this scar. Yeah. I made the decision that I was like, I will do anything that needs to be done to have this, like, not scar. And I did, and it worked wonderfully. And then she's done some amazing, amazing work on my body. And then my son's been receiving it since like 2 weeks after he was born.
Exactly? Yeah, so it looks on you, or they rub their hands on you? Like
it's palpation. It's manual palpation, and it's like you're listening to the cranial rhythm that moves from the cranium all the way down your spine. So you have a spinal fluid of cranial fluid that moves all the way down and back, and it's constantly sending that. And so I felt it. I felt it on my son because I've watched him, and it's amazing when you see someone so young receiving this therapy, because he's just one giant unconscious mind right now. Like all our kids are. They're in this period where they're just kind of accepting everything until they're about 7 years old. And so he's just kind of like there, and you see him as she's saying, okay, now we're tapping into his dural tube. Now we're tapping into his amygdala. Like I'm now getting really deep into the brain, and you see him just kind of go into this hypnotic state of just like he's like where he's doing the work and he'll kind of like fuss, but he won't move her hands. It's like he knows that it's like the work is really, really powerful. Yeah. I forgot how we got onto this topic.
Okay, wait. So, how do you, what kind of doctor or who do you go to for this?
A CranialSacral Therapist. Yeah, you go to a So
CranialSacral. Okay,
and my pediatrician recommended. I mean, I have a fantastic one in LA. My pediatrician recommended that we do it just throughout to help his growth, to help with his like nighttime twitching, because he would twitch himself awake from the neurological changes that are happening in his body and in his mind, and like they're just absorbing so much and growing so fast.
So with sleep, this is how we got here with sleep.
Oh, sleep. Yeah. So that's there we go. Circling it back around. So
Mav needs to get
CranialSacral Therapy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, down for it.
It definitely, he sleeps so much better when he receives his treatment. Wow. Like if he really conks out, he's able to just process more. It's
oh my gosh, I have to do this.
Right. I want to do it. Not even with the babies.
I just need sleep, please. I'll do it to myself. Okay, I will do all of these things. Thank you for your tips. Because I need this. Yesterday, I literally just had to like, I think I was crying. I did a couple. I don't really remember because I'm so tired. So I think it was like, I just let him cry for a little bit, and then I had like left the room and like let him cry some more, and like called his dad because his dad's out of town, and I was just like, he's crying, and my mom is Korean, and so in Asian culture, you don't let babies cry. They are very like you don't let them cry. If you let them cry, you're at bad parent. Like you always gotta So my mom, anytime she hears him cry, like if I'm FaceTiming her, she's like, "Why is he crying?" I'm like, "Mom, like he's good." So I think just that like Asianness has been put on me, and so I'm like, he can't cry, and his dad is like, he can cry.
It's okay if he cries.
So I was just like, you're gonna have to cry tonight, Mav. I'm sorry, I can't do this today. I don't have the capacity. And so
I think when Declan was about Mav's age, he was like 7-8 months. We had one night because we never really let him cry it out totally, because there's different sleep strategies that you can do. But there was this one time that I went in, my husband went in, I went back in, my husband went back in, and after that, it was like a 2-3 hour thing. It was I think it was 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh!
And we were postponing having dinner, and I was like, fuck it, just like let him he will cry himself to sleep this time, and I think he will survive. I think. Yeah, I got
to that point. And I like same thing. I was like, I don't really want to do cry it out, but last night he cried it out, and I was like, you just gonna have to. And it wasn't even bad. He like only cried for like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't know. Yeah. But it wasn't even like your baby's cries. It was not like the hurt cry. It was like, and I just was like, I remember saying like I was so tired, and I remember going, fuck these kids. And I'm sorry, like I don't like to curse on there, but I really said that, and it's funny because I don't have kids. I have one baby,
one child. It's the kids that you aspire to have that you're like,
no, I don't even want those anymore. I don't want those to survive. Last night I was like, I don't want to be a mom. I didn't all that, and I was like, wait, let me add today because I don't want to be a mom today. But because if you don't add the today, it sounds really bad, right? But in that moment, I was just like, I don't want to be a mom. I'm tired. F these kids, like whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't have kids. Okay, I'm sleepy. I called his dad. I was like, I don't know. He was like, just sit down. Like, be quiet, sit down. Just go sleep on the couch if you have to, because he's in our room. He's like, just get away from him.
The other day, and then we'll move on. I told my sister, actually, this should be on one of my Aint No Shames, but me and Terell both fell asleep on the couch watching a show, and Halo has her own little sitting area where if she's playing with her toys, and we probably fell asleep for about 10 minutes. I woke up and I was like, and she was still just sitting there like playing with her toys, and I'm like, we both were asleep. Like she just was there. Right. But it was the end of the week. We were so tired. Yeah. but she's still here.
Yeah,
It's
okay. Babies are really resilient. That's that's really like we are as humans are masterfully designed to be really freaking resilient.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And I just need
moms.
to accept that.
Yeah, and moms too.
Especially moms.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's get through this.
Right.
This is great, y'all. I'm trying. Help me. I need a break. Okay.
Megan's gonna get some sleep.
I need something.
Just sleep in the car.
A nap.
Right.
Or in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since you're taking a break with us, this is the moment where we scroll and we talk about what's on our timeline. So Kim and Kanye just had their third baby? Fourth baby. Okay. Yeah. And they named him Psalms.
No, Psalm.
Psalm.
With
Psalm.
no S.
Okay.
I was like Psalm.
Which
Psalm West. Psalm.
So I mean, so I was thinking about it. So it's north, the highest point, right? Saint, virtue. Mm-hmm. And then what's Chicago? That's his home.
Yeah.
And then
Psalm.
A sacred song, right?
A
sacred song.
Yeah.
It's a sacred song.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it. Like, what's the craziest name you guys have heard? I mean, I don't think that's too crazy. You think it's crazy?
I mean,
it's crazy.
I don't think anyone's naming their baby Psalm. Like Psalm, if you don't get over it, what's his middle name? Like David, Psalm David.
Psalm
like,
David.
Like what kind of middle name do you give a kid named Psalm, right?
I just looked at the names as a whole this morning, and I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, he goes.
My baby's name is Halo,
but that's why I'm like,
that's
why I was like, I feel like we should talk about this because Halo, Declan, Maverick, like all of us have like not popular baby names,
right?
Well, Declan's actually a bit like I've met so many kids or so many moms who are like, I almost named my son.
I told you that. I was like, I like that.
So many they were like, I almost made. Well, Spike and I chose our baby names when we first started dating.
Really?
Because he's 19 years older than I am. And so I told him after we'd committed to like being in a relationship, I wanted to be clear of like my intentions of where this was going.
Yeah.
And I said, if you're not down to, like, because he didn't have kids in his first marriage and they'd actually agreed not to have kids in his first marriage. Uh-huh. And then she ended up having a kid with somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So he felt kind of gypped.
Yeah.
And like that was like back to the thing that like he didn't think he would ever have that opportunity, you know, because he started dating again at 36 and then like he met me when he was 44. And so when he said, well, with you I could see having children, I was like, all right. So the next morning I made him like go sit down and like choose the names.
Okay, so choose the name. So
because I said, okay, like, well, what would we name these children that we were to have if we were to have children together? And so we went through and we chose Declan was the first one, and then we chose 3 others. And like, not that I'm planning on having 4 children. No.
She's drinking wine. She's drinking champagne.
No. Not planning on having 4 children, but I like backups. So like we had two boys' names and then 2 girls' names.
Okay.
All ending in N. Like we're the family that ends in N.
Oh, we're the family that starts in M's.
Yeah. Except for like my name and Spike's name, like don't apply. But you know, matriarch and patriarch of queen and king of the family, like we don't have to abide by the rules.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what do you think about their names? The names they chose.
I mean, they go with who they are. And I think it like shows where they were in their life. Like, you know, now Kanye has like a little church service. So Psalm like fits perfectly because he's all about his spirituality. You know what I mean? Even though I can't get an invite to the church service because it's a VIP church service. But I want to go. Yes, you can. It's like invite only.
It's funny. I know nothing about pop culture.
No. So yeah, they have.
You know who Kim Kardashian is?
I do know who Kim Kardashian is.
Yeah, but
I know who Kanye
so
West
apparently
is.
in Calabasas they have this like Sunday service out in the park or somewhere.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, it's got like he's got like a huge choir.
It's so beautiful.
And everybody wears like Yeezy clothes, and so they're like looking like it looks like a cult because everybody has on like white, but like they're kind of like his white is a little dingy, so it's like not super white, and they look like cut off sweatshirts or whatever. But the everyone has it. They have like a children's choir, like his kids were in there singing the song with the choir.
Sweet.
It is, and I was like, but can I go? You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord accepts everyone. I want to go. I want to go. Why can't I go? Where is it at? I don't know where it's
asking everyone where.
That's what I'm saying because it's invite only. I was like, ooh, the Lord don't work like that. So you over here with your little church service and your baby named Psalm, and I can't go. I got a problem with that. Okay,
we can find somebody. Send Megan.
We got a location. I want to join his little cult. Okay, let me know where it is. But I think like I like different names. You know
Me
what I mean?
too.
I think their names are a little extreme, but that's how we picked Maverick, because I think when we were having him, we knew his name was going to start with an M. That's all we knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We didn't pick his name until I was like 8 months pregnant. And I thought, we're going to make it to the day he's born and he's not going to have a name. Because I liked Mason and my fiance was like, no. And then I really liked Milo. And he was like, absolutely no. And I was like, that's cute.
Adorable.
But he was like, your reasoning is why we're not going to do it. He's like, why do you like Milo? And I was like, because my favorite movie growing up was Milo and Otis, and it was about a cat and a dog. And he was like, you want to name our baby after a cat? And I was like, oh, Milo is the cat. But he doesn't have to know that. And then he was like, it's also a name of like a chocolate shake drink in the Caribbean, because my fiance's Caribbean. Yeah. It's
Milo?
Milo, yeah. And I was like, no, it's Milo. He was like, no, it's the same thing. He was like, we're not naming our baby that. So then Maverick was like the third choice. And then if you ask my fiance to this day, he says he picked the name. And I was like, sir, you didn't have any suggestions. I literally was like, okay, well, what's your name? You're turning all of mine down. What's your suggestions? And he was like, I'll get back to you. Not one Milo. Right. And all you had was negatives. You didn't have any positive ones, okay?
We just looked up Celtic names because both my husband and I are like, we're Scottish, Irish. I mean, we're a whole like European mix. He has some Native American in him, but like we decided Scotland, Ireland, the Celtic background. So that's where we got Declan, meaning man of goodness and prayer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, we have a friend whose son is also named Declan, and so I did ask, permission.
Are you supposed to ask permission?
I don't think so, but I did just because.
Because I met a
woman.
not
that I would have still gone with it either way.
Yeah.
But I just out of respect.
I feel like if it's your friend that you like hang with and you talk to, I feel like you have to at least say something.
Yeah. Well, I said, hey, we really like this name. We're thinking of naming our son this.
Yeah.
And she was like, cool. So we have Big Declan and Baby Declan.
Aww,
that's cute. Yeah. Do you know somebody named Halo?
No. Someone recently told me that their son or their nephew's name was Halo, and they were like, I like it way better on a girl.
Yeah, I feel like it's a girl name.
Yeah. I mean, everyone kind of knows. Well, first of all, Halo's not in the Bible, so everyone always, a Bible name. I was like, it's not a Bible name.
It's not. It's
Halo,
like what an angel wears in their head.
But they don't even say Halo in the Bible. Like, it's more of a...
just an ethereal, spiritual type.
Right. It's not in the Bible. But when me and Terell first got married, I was in a donut shop. I love donuts. And Halo is an old Beyonce song. It's old. It's relatively old. Yeah. It's not new. And it came on in the donut shop. And I remember calling Terell. I was like, I think our first child's going to be a girl named Halo. And he was like, okay, bye. And then, when I kid you not, I would be in public restrooms. Like, every time I would call Terell during the day, he's like, you heard the song? Like, he knew I heard the song somewhere so random. Gas stations, when they play the music at the pump.
Yeah.
Halo. And then we didn't decide on a name. And then after our baby shower and we're doing the thank you cards, he was like, why don't you just put Halo's name on the card?
I was wondering why, at your baby shower, you didn't have a name yet. And then when I got the thank you, I was like, oh, the baby's name is Halo? At first I was like, who was Halo? And I was like, oh, the baby!
Because I never, pushed it. I just saw when that song would come on, I would see a baby girl. It wasn't more so that, her name was going to be Halo. Yeah. I just saw this little girl running around. And when we were, thinking about the names, thank you from Terell, Marisa. And he's like, why don't you put Halo's name on the card? I'm like, oh, are we naming her that? I was like, yeah, why not? We haven't talked about any other names.
Oh, wow. So it's that easy?
And that was the first time anyone knew. Mom, anyone. Yeah. And I didn't want anyone to, bother me about it.
Yeah. That's so cute. I know my mom was like, let me tell you about what my mom did though, because I told her it was going to be a baby M. And so as a Korean mom, she likes to be very prepared for everything. So she kept asking me every week, so did you guys come up with names? I said, Mom, I will let you know. When we do, we're still debating. We don't know yet. It's just going to start with the M. She's like, okay. Next thing you know, I get an email. She CCs Marlon and she's like, hey guys, I want to help you with your name selection. Here's a list of names that start with M. They were all Bible names.
Matthew.
Moses. Methuselah. Manasseh. So I was like, look, lady, I'm so sick of you. So I was like, you know what? I responded. I was like, we're going to go with Manasseh. I'm going to call him Assy for short. Thank you. All right. Now that sounds like a joke, right? At least I thought it did. 2 weeks later, I have my first baby shower. She gives me a monogram blanket with Manasseh.
No, she didn't.
I still have it to this day. And I was just like, Mom, that's not his name. And she was like, but you said it was. I said, I also said his nickname was Ass. That wasn't real. She was like, I thought that was a little off, but if that's what you guys want to go with, it is in the Bible. I was like, I can't, ma'am, that was a joke. So she was like, oh, now I gotta take the blanket. I said, no, we're keeping this blanket that says Manasseh. And when Mav gets older, he's gonna go, why does this blanket say Manasseh? And I'm gonna tell him exactly why it says that. Because your grandma thought your nickname was Ass. Okay, that's why. And she was just like, no, don't say it. I was like, no, I'm telling him everything. Okay.
Yep.
I told you not to buy anything for him before I was buying. This is what you get. Okay, so he's keeping it.
Oh, man.
This is his special blanket.
That's funny.
But yes, baby names, y'all. Baby names. All right, let's move on. So, we know that recently there was a lot of abortion bans that happened in different states that said, like, you can't have an abortion after, like, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whatever. And so most of these, like, the crazy part about this legislation is that most of it was done by, like, really old white dudes who, like, have no understanding of, like, women's reproductive systems. But what I wanted to focus on was that, which I thought was very absent from this conversation, was fathers. Because nowhere, did anybody say anything about, like, well, should we ask the father if they think about this? And so that was a very interesting question to me, because it's like, when we talk about abortion bans, it's always women, versus, like, the male legislators. But you never get to hear, like, what about fathers? What should fathers have a say? Actually, so that's the question. Should fathers have a say in abortions? And if so, like, how much? Should they be able to say you can't get an abortion, or should they be able to say you need to get an abortion? Like, what's the father's voice in this?
Well, I think that's a hard line, especially depending upon who the father is.
Very
like,
so, yeah.
if the father is, like, your husband, your life partner, the person that you've chosen to live your life with, then I would say the father should have a say. But if the father is some, like, jerk who raped you,
peace out.
Like,
I don't know.
I think it's a really tough question.
I think even if, like you said, when you're married, your bodies are one. If you go back to, like, the whole spiritual aspect of what a marriage is, you would make that decision together. Like, I couldn't imagine doing that, coming home and, like, hey babe.
Right.
Yeah.
How was your day?
Guess what I did?
Right.
Yeah.
But again, things happen. I've had an abortion, so it was, and my boyfriend at the time was horrible. He was terrible. Like, I could never imagine giving birth to this man's child. Like, I don't even know what my life would be being stuck with him.
Yeah.
And that's, people do it.
Was that, like, your big deciding factor? Like, did you stay after you had that experience? You just were like, I gotta get out of this? I stayed,
but it's so funny because I've talked to friends who have went through that with their boyfriends, and and I'm like, could you imagine staying with this guy after you did this and then birthing another child? Like, leave. You know what I mean? Like, how can you do that with one child, stay with the guy, not wanting to have his baby, feeling like, do you think that feeling's going to change later on?
Ooh, this is
for me, it was like, no. I think I stayed a few more months after that, but I knew, like, right off the bat, there's no way I would want to give birth to this man's child. It just wasn't. He was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I've had an abortion too.
Really?
Yes. I don't really talk about it.
Me either.
Because, this is actually the first time I'm saying this.
Same.
Like, on air.
Mm-hmm.
I had it when I was 17, but my decision was more so like, I can't live like I can't even feed myself. And when I look back at that, if my boyfriend at the time had, he was scared, like, he was young too, so he was like, okay, but if he had said, no, you're keeping this baby, like, I don't know if I would have. And if the legislation had said fathers get a say, then, my life could be very different at this point. So it's like, when I think about that, did he have as much right to that baby as I did? Absolutely. But, should we give women more a pass, because they're the ones who have to live with it every day? Like, not only would I have had to live with that pregnancy every day of the pregnancy, but even after an abortion, I have to live with it still every day. So it's like, does that mean that I get more of a say because it affects my life way more? You know what I mean? And then, like, I was reading, and the reason I brought this whole thing up was I saw a guy post, and he said, everybody's talking about these abortion things, and I hear all the women saying, it's my body, I do what I want. He said, I am a man who wants to have children. He said, I have literally had women, and there's been 4 abortions of my children with different women. And he was like, I want my children. And he was like, and the circumstances weren't exactly what I wanted it to be, but he was like, I hate the fact that I had 0 say. Yeah. He said, I would have gladly taken those children from the moms. If the moms didn't want them, he's like, I would have taken them. I would have raised them as a single father. And I let them know that, like, just give the baby to me. You don't got to worry about it. We're never going to ask you for anything. And he was like, it's just so unfair that, we've got this abortion ban, but what if I want the baby? Like, where do I get a voice in
I was
that?
at a church in Houston once, and I never seen this before. Because I've seen a lot of churches talk about abortions and the healing, and they offer, like, grieving counseling. But they said, now we want to, like, have the man stand up as well. And we want to heal you, too. And that was the first time I saw that.
That's powerful.
A few years back at a Houston church. Because I guess, I mean, you never think about how that might affect if this is my child. You know?
And I think, first of all, like, I want to honor both of you for the fact that you have the courage to speak up about, like, something so personal that you've been through. I mean, I never have had to experience that, thank God, though there was a time in my life where I was popping the morning after pill, like it was candy. Because when I was in my relationship with my ex, I could not imagine having children with that man as far as where he was in his life. And like the fear behind it, and I think there comes to a greater conversation as well beyond like what the men have is for the women, as far as like putting yourself out there and like, why are we making the choices that we're making?
Right.
Like beyond, like, why are we choosing these relationships that are with men that we just know on a deeper level, like on our soul level, like are not aligned. They're nobody that we would want to have to be the father of our children.
Right. That's what I tell young girls. I'm like, look, don't have sex with them if you don't want to have kids with them. If you don't know if you want to have kids with them, close your legs. Like that is like literally, I wish somebody would say that to me, because I mean, not that I would have followed it, because at that point I thought I knew everything. but either way, but I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Like, don't engage with somebody that if you can't honestly say, I can co-parent with you. You cannot say that. That means you don't need to be engaging with them, because you don't know them well enough, and children can happen. Okay, like I know children can happen. So if that's the case, just keep it moving.
I think it comes down to a deeper thing of like choosing our relationships, our spouses, our life partners from a place of like truly believing that we are worth choosing an amazing partner who also thinks that we are amazing and treats us like the queens that we are.
Yes.
I mean, I think that is a deeper conversation, because I mean, as someone who has experienced sexual abuse, I like the thought of having children. Some people are just like, no. But like that, it came down for me to that level of like, I had to recognize within myself that I was deserving and whole and okay to be loved, and not only okay, but like worthy of being loved as the woman that I am. Sparkles, heels, and all, like sexy and wacky weird, because I got both sides. I got many sides to me, but like for all sides of me. And I made a decision, like this is how I manifested my husband, was I made a decision 2 hours before I went to this networking event. I was like, God, I just want to be single. Right. I said, I want to be single. I want to just be my most authentic self. I want to finally know what that authenticity is, that like true soul of who I am. And I want to travel. And then 2 hours later, I meet this man who's 19 years older than me, has long piratey hair, swagger. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. So let's see where this goes. So I told him things that my best friends at the time didn't know. I told him that I had been married prior. I told him that about some like past indiscretions. I told him about being abused, like on the day that I met him. Like, these are things that you're technically not supposed to say. And I was like, look, I'm just going to deliver my opinion, and you can take it or leave it. You can like me as I am, and as I'm figuring things out. I told him I didn't like 80s music. That was almost a deal breaker.
Look, I'm not going to sit here
I mean, there's some 80s music that I will totally love on, like Queen,
Right.
but like
Everything
a lot of like the poppy stuff I'm like not into.
Yeah.
But like that, it was that level of authenticity and going in saying, I no longer want to change myself to appease a man.
Thank you.
I no longer want to cut off pieces or like hide parts of myself because of shame or fear or guilt. Like I want to show up fully, authentically as I am. And I want someone who respects that.
Yeah.
You want to know what's crazy? I did the same thing. When Terell started talking about being married, I was like, I'll never forget. I was sitting on my kitchen counter. I was like, there's 5 things that I have to tell you. It's like, okay. Like, it was just like, one was the abortion, like the things that I've never said out loud before. And I was like, I need to get this out so that you know who this person is before you decide to like buy this ring and do all these things. And I just said, it was like a list of things in my head that I felt made me unmarried worthiness, all that stuff. And I said it all in order.
Yeah.
And he's like, babe, that makes me love you even more. Really? Okay, fine.
I love it.
But it was just a self thing of like, I probably lied to every person I've ever met. Sorry.
Right.
Oh, I mean,
You know
I
what I
did
mean?
the same thing. Like in my relationship with my ex, like it was my fault that he didn't know how big my dreams were.
Right.
As far as like what I wanted to accomplish. And so when he questioned me, like, wait, you want to be a writer and a mom and a business owner and this and that and this. I was like, and he's like, how are you going to do it all? I was like, oh my God, you don't even know me.
Right.
I was like, he just, and it was my fault because I had never shown up fully as I am. I had sent a representative of the person who I thought would be lovable. And I showed up as that representative.
Ooh.
And eventually the representative has got to take a hike eventually. Sometimes that it takes, 6 weeks. Sometimes it takes an entire marriage. Sometimes it takes your kids to leave the house for you to suddenly realize, oh my God, I've been sending my representative throughout an entire 20-year marriage. I've seen that with clients. Like it's a powerful thing when you step into your power and just own every single aspect. The shameful parts included.
Yeah, and
like,
you crown yourself.
And you crown yourself, baby. That's right.
Wait, so tell us how you started your business, Crown Yourself. Is this like part of like your life story? And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to turn this into an entire business.
So I started Crown Yourself basically on my honeymoon because I had no idea what I was going to do. Because 3 weeks before I walked down the aisle to get married, I was bought out of my first e-commerce company.
Okay.
And so like the 3 months when you're supposed to be like planning like napkins and like tasting cake, I was negotiating with lawyers. Not super sexy, and my hair was falling out. It wasn't a fun summer. But then I was left in Italy. Bummer. I was in Italy for 6 weeks in an Airbnb, wondering, what the hell am I going to do? Like, I was like, okay, so I'd owned a Pilates studio. I'd been the president of an e-commerce company. I was like, I figured out the body stuff because I'd been doing some body image and wellness coaching inside of my Pilates business just because those were the people that I was attracting. Yeah. Because I've always been very upfront from like my past body image issues and my going through my 10-year battle with bulimia and like how I recovered from that. And so I'd been doing some like kind of coaching with my clients just while I was working with them teaching Pilates. I'd figured out the relationship thing because I found a man who like treats me like a queen, who loves me unconditionally. Like, I mean, we have some conditions on a relationship, like there's no cheating. Right, of course. But I mean, he'd still love me. He just wouldn't be with me. But we figured out the relationship thing. I was like, okay, I finally met this amazing man who's like my forever husband, who's my soulmate. Like, I truly believe our souls are aligned. And I was like, and business, that buyout, that was a tough summer, but you know what? I've operated 2 businesses. I've like, I think I could do like some sort of like coaching or like maybe a blog or like women's empowerment or something. I don't know. And so we were brainstorming on the couch of like, what to do? Like, how could I combine something? Because in every single business I'd had, the two back then, being a Pilates instructor, well, also being a freelance screenwriter, because that's what I was years ago. Being a freelance screenwriter, being a Pilates instructor, being the president of an e-commerce company, none of those felt 100% me. Like, I felt like there was always a part of myself that I had to tone down.
Yeah.
Like in screenwriting, I had to tone down like my femininity so that I could really have my voice be heard a lot with like not only just men, but with women too, who have, like, I got the question after my first film that I co-wrote was distributed while we were doing press for that. It was a film about freestyle motocross. And I got the question of like, well, did you write all the girl parts from women? Right. And I was like, no, the scenes about strip clubs, like I wrote those too. and then like in my e-commerce company, I still felt like I had to show up as like this buttoned up businesswoman. And in my Pilates business, I never was like the fitness guru person. Like I never have wanted to be like the people who are like, I think her name is Kayla Itznis. She's like the fitness queen. Like I never was 100%. I just want to show working out is my life. Like I was like, that's not me. And so when I like thought of all the things that I loved, pageants, fitness, I do love fitness. I love exercise, relationships, like helping people, serving, telling stories. I was like, oh my gosh, crown yourself. And my husband was like, what's that? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like coaching, empowerment. I don't know. It took me 2 years to get my shit together to be able to figure it out. Because the first 2 years I was doing, like, I was still playing small. I was really scared because I developed a ton of limiting beliefs after that summer of like buyouts and lawyers and all that stuff. I just like, I questioned, I had massive imposter syndrome of like, who am I to launch this business? Who am I to coach women? Like, who am I to be this person? And then 2 years into it, I found out that
we understand, you know, when mommy's trying to do mommy stuff, there's always little babies.
They're like, mama. Right. Yeah. So 2 years in, I found out that I was pregnant, and I was like, if I'm really gonna do this, I have no excuse. Like I said, I did not like the person I was 2.5 years ago. A little over 2.5 years ago, but I like, cause I was complaining all the time. I like, my mindset sucked. Like I was making money, but my money mindset sucked. Like I was stuck playing small in this, in every capacity of my life. And when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, not only do I not want this for my business and for the impact that I know I can make, but I want this for my son. I want him to know what respecting and loving, strong, amazing, powerful women who work for a massive purpose. Like, I want him to know that, mother. Ooh, I want him to know that. I want to set that example so that those are the women that he chases. Should he choose to? That's good. Should he choose to go after, a strong, powerful?
That's a good thought process to have. Raising boy. I mean, I don't have a son, but I want him to go after women like that.
I want him to see the example of like what's possible when you said, I want him to find someone, woman or man, whatever he, right now he's really into boobs, so I think we know where he's going. I really think I know where he's going. But I just want him to find someone that is strong, is resilient, is a leader, and that he is not afraid to be the only man that can lead her with the confidence and have her be the queen of her domain.
Look at that. Man. You just said like so many things. These are like so many gems. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay, so wait, this is part of what you teach women, right?
Yeah. So I work mostly with women, but I have worked with some men. Okay. I do NLP and high performance coaching and business coaching for women who are like just getting started in the beginning stages of their business. Right. So that's like, because I believe in entrepreneurship is the way of the future. Right. Like, I think that's just where we're going. I think being a bigger visionary, being a more creative thinker, that's just where we have to set our minds to. Yet traditional education in many ways has let us down in that, because it has prepared us for being employees and not necessarily questioning the status quo, not necessarily thinking creatively, not necessarily thinking in a way that allows us to solve problems in a creative stance. It's like, no, here's your A, B, and C, and here's your answer. Right. So like, what I do is that's a big part of the mindset reprogramming that I do with my clients, of like getting them to shift into thinking in a bigger way about themselves and about their business, about their relationships and their bodies in a holistic sense, because how you do anything affects how you do everything.
Exactly.
So how you approach your body and your fitness is going to be the very similar way that you approach your business, and how you approach it, because everything is a relationship. Absolutely everything. You have a relationship with your body. You have a relationship with your business. You have a relationship with yourself, with your spirit, with your soul. You have a relationship with your partner or your husband or your kids. Everything is a relationship. And so one of my favorite questions to ask my clients is like, if your business or if your body, if you were in a relationship with them, and like, let's personify them for a hot second. Let's pretend like they're a man and you're like in a relationship. Are you dating? Are you just kind of like casually seeing each other? Do you need to have that like where is this going conversation?
That is
where is this going?
Yeah, where is this going conversation? Or are you like going all in? Are you saying, I'm married to my body, I am married to my business, I am showing up 100% for myself, for my spirit, for my soul, for my business, for every area of my life.
That is so real. No, I'm like side chicking my body, yo.
I'm like, okay.
I'm side chicking my body. Yeah. My body's my side chick. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm having that already serious conversation. Where is this going with everything?
Kimberly, this is so amazing. I'm like, okay, where can people reach you and get more information, and like, because you need to get some coaching from her.
So you can always go to CranialSacral.com, and I do a initial consult for anyone who's looking at private coaching to see if like that's a right fit. And then if that is a right fit, or if that's not a right fit, I also have other programs, like my program, The Princess Process, which is a weekly membership. Because if you think about it, every princess in any story has like, or in any country, has had a team grooming her to be queen. Ooh, and yet, so often, we do not have that team around us. We have a whole bunch of naysayers that are like, oh, really? You're going to do that? Yeah. Oh, are you sure? But that's going to take away time from your kids, isn't it? Or like, oh, that's going to take, like, oh, you're going to start waking up early? Isn't that going to be hard?
Yeah.
And you're like, all these people that question your decision, rather than you just saying, no, this is my effing decision.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go and commit to every single area of my life and let that be what it is. And so inside the Princess Process, it's specifically for those women who are wanting to step it up in their business.
Okay.
And so we, through weekly training and coaching, we step it up in like a massive way.
So I love this.
So that you show up holistically. And then you can always find me on Instagram. You can follow my mompreneur journey on Kimberly.Spencer. And you can follow me at Crown Yourself Now on Instagram as well for leadership tips, motivation, inspiration, and just like massive soul downloads of wisdom bombs.
No, seriously, I needed this kick to go into my next week of like my pitches that I plan on doing. I'm like, you know what? No, I could do this. I needed this.
Yes, Kimberly. You know what? Before we get out of here, like that was so much inspiration. But we like to leave with like an inspirational word, just because we got to go throughout this entire week. Right?
Yeah. No, for sure. Is it me?
Yes, it's you.
Okay. Well, it's called I'm fine. So.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm not fine right now because my brain is still on. I need sleep. So my bad.
This quote: "Successful mothers are not the ones that have never struggled. They are the ones that never gave up despite the struggle." So I feel like this is super perfect for this conversation.
Yeah.
Because quick story. I was on a panel with Kimberly, and she openly just shared her eating disorder. She was so confident. She was just like, yeah, I had this. And I was like, wait, what? How did she do that? I thought, like, how did she do that so, like, effortlessly, And she was my motivation for sharing my journey and my story for my life. Oh, yes, you were. For my past event to share. Because I just felt like, I
want to hug you so bad right now.
This is so
because it was just like,
so
I just
needed
to hear someone or see someone do that, and you did it just, like I said, it was a crowd of people, and she just said it, rolled off of her tongue perfectly, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Look at you. Look at you. Touching lives, Kimberly,
all over the place.
What?
Just spreading the sparkle.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you because I think our struggles make our story, and it makes us the women who we are to encourage someone else, because it's not about us. It's about, helping someone. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is what we do here on Mommy Needs a Break. Okay, make sure you follow us. We have a lot of wonderful guests. I don't know if they're going to be as great as Kimberly, because she is awesome.
This is I just topped it.
This is amazing.
I set the intention, didn't I? I was like, this is going to be the most amazing interview on the face of the planet. Intention set. And then exceeded.
Accomplished.
So, thank you. You can follow me, Megan Thomas, at Meg Scoop, all over the internet. Don't forget to follow our podcast, MNAB Podcast, on all your social media as well.
Not Marisa Johnson. What is my social handle? She is Marisa J on Instagram.
Yes. And then where can we find you one last time?
At Kimberly.Spencer and at Crown Yourself Now. And you can go to my website at crownyourself.com for a free hypnosis if you want to totally reprogram your mindset and get started on that game.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I'll be going there because I need to hypnotize this fat. This mom fat needs to get off my body. Okay, get this mom fat away. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Right here, Mommy Needs a Break. Bye.